This video contains extreme violence, offensive language, and other mature themes. Viewer discretion is advised. Video games and controversy go like peanut butter and jelly, and there are many games that have crossed this line to extreme violence. However, not as many are as brutal, violent, and offensive like Rockstar's survival horror game from 2003, Manhunt. Manhunt came out for the PS2 on the 19th of November 2003, and it came out for the Windows and Xbox in April next year. It was developed by Rockstar North and published by Rockstar Games, the same creators of Grand Theft Auto, another controversial video game franchise that I'm sure you heard of, but other famous games such as Bully, Red Dead Redemption, LA Noire, Max Payne, and others. Despite the controversy, Manhunt was so popular that it got a sequel in 2007 that was more brutal, more violent, more dirty, and more sadistic. I played through both games and I'll make a separate video on the sequel, but today we're talking about Manhunt 1 specifically. The first part that we'll be talking about is the story. Manhunt has a very interesting concept that I really dig and I really am interested. Both games are good, but I feel like the first one just has more interesting concepts. Manhunt 1 follows James Earl Cash. He is a death row prisoner who was supposed to be executed. However, he wakes up and realizes that he's still alive. Turns out that the director who makes snuff films has paid the cops not to execute Cash, and now the director can use him for his films, and Cash now has to survive all the things that the director puts him through. Cash will be forced to go to different locations such as a junkyard, an abandoned zoo, an apartment complex, a subway station, and many more. And all these locations are very scary. And I have to say, even though it's a horror game, I wasn't as scared. However, there are some cheap jump scares that they throw at you. In one mission, Cash will have to save his family members from a gang known as War Dogs. However, in the next mission, View of Innocence, he will go to an abandoned mall where he will find another gang called the Innocents. He will find a videotape and a TV, and when he watches it, he will realize that all of his family members have been captured and executed by the director. Cash, enraged by this, will destroy the TV and will plot his revenge against the director. Throughout the story, the player will encounter many gangs, such as Skins, a group of people that I can't say, but they have a very bad reputation. You probably know who I'm talking about. Also, Smileys, who are a group of lunatics who broke out of a prison and took over. Also, Innocents, who are a group of cultists and serial killers, and many more. All of these gangs are very disturbing, have their own thing, and all of their levels are interesting to play through because they all have like their different mechanic and stuff. At the end of the game, Cash breaks into the director's mansion. He learns that the director's name is Lionel Starkweather. He is a producer from Hollywood who has failed and decided to make a living off of snuff films. Cash breaks into his mansion and kills all of his guards, known as the Cerberus. He then goes to Starkweather's office, but he is ambushed by a man known as Pigsy. Pigsy is like a crazy serial killer with a chainsaw and a pig's head. He's usually the scariest part of the game and the most iconic. Cash kills Pigsy and he goes to Starkweather's office and finally kills him, escaping before the media arrives. And that's the end of the game. It was kind of a disappointing ending, but there are also 4 bonus stages. Now let's go over the gameplay. Manhunt is a stealth game, so you have to do a lot of sneaking, but there are also shooting missions, especially near the end of the game, and it gets annoying because it's a 2003 game, so the shooting wasn't the best. Now, the most popular part about Manhunt was the executions. There are 3 types of executions: white, which is the least violent; yellow, which is more violent; and red, which is the most violent. The longer you hold, the more brutal the executions will be, and the game basically encourages you to do that, because the more brutal you are, the more faster you are, more points you will get. And at the end of the game, you'll see all the points, and with more points, you can unlock more bonus levels. I have played on the easiest difficulty because there are only 2 difficulties, and I have managed to get all the bonus levels except one, so I'll still have to get that one. There are many different weapons in Manhunt. There are green weapons, which are basically weapons that you can only use once, stuff like plastic bags, glass shards, wires, etc. Then there are blue class weapons, stuff like machetes, crowbars, blackjacks, etc. Those are more weaker weapons, but are also pretty good. They are most common. Then there are red weapons, stuff like chainsaws, baseball bats, and other stuff. Also, guns like assault rifles, pistols, sniper rifles, and there are even tranquilizer rifles. Now, as I mentioned previously, Manhunt has a lot of cool levels. Some of my favorites are levels like Grounds for Assault, which are in a zoo where you face off against the war dogs. I like that level, but there are also some I didn't like Strapped for Cash. In that level, you basically have to save your family members, and if they spot you, they kill one of them. And that was very stressing because I'm a goody two-shoes, so I want to save all of them. But there are also other very frustrating levels, like one where you face off against cops, because those cops and SWAT teams, they have SMGs, and those SMGs, let me tell you, those drain your health fast. Now, obviously, with such a violent game, there's going to be a lot of controversy, so let's get over them, but there's a lot. And now, one of the people who didn't really like this game was a US representative called Joe Baca. Sassy Baca? Man, I gotta shut the fuck up. Who was a sponsor of a registration to find those who sell adult-themed games to players younger than 17. He said, quote, "It's telling kids how to kill someone and uses vicious, sadistic, and cruel methods to kill." Now, there's another case that I really want to go over, but it's more dark and it's not something that I really like. And it's a murder of, I think, a 14-year-old boy. And it said that the killer played this game, but I think the cops denied it. So we're just going to go over it pretty quickly. I don't really want to talk about real-life murders. So on July 28, 2004, the game was linked to the murder of 14-year-old Stefan Bakira by his 17-year-old friend Varen Leblin. Sorry if I pronounced that name's wrong. In Leicestershire, England. Again, sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Initial media reports claimed that the police had found a copy of the game in Leblin's bedroom. Giselle and Patrick Bakira, the victim's parents, claimed that the game had influenced LeBlanc and played a role in the murder. The ELSPA offered sympathy to the Bakira family but rejected any connections between the game and the murder. So due to this, the game was removed from many game stores, and it wasn't outright banned in the UK, I think, but the sequel was banned in the UK one. So Manhunt was banned in New Zealand and Australia. Even though in Australia it wasn't originally supposed to be banned, they decided to ban it anyways. But Australia is strict on video games anyways. Now, excuse me if I couldn't find any other countries that it was banned in, because there's not really any good lists online, but I did find the fact that it was banned in New Zealand and Australia. So if you know any other countries where the original game was banned and not the sequel, make sure to leave it in the comments below. So after playing Manhunt myself, I have to say I didn't want to commit any murders in real life. However, it was a bit unsettling. So yeah, should the game be played by little kids? No, I feel like you should give this game to maybe 13-year-olds and older, and then it's fine. But overall, I don't think any kids should play this. There are video game ratings for a reason. But yeah, I still thought it was a great game. Very creepy, very fun, great for its time. But yeah, that was it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And see you in the next video.